Seriously, you scared me half to death, Violet yelped, landing on the floor with a thud. She'd been balancing precariously on one foot, wrestling with her sock, when Alice suddenly appeared. What the heck, Alice? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Alice squeaked, reaching out a hand to help her up. Violet shot her a look that could curdle milk, and Alice quickly retreated, tucking her hands behind her back. Violet could be seriously intimidating. Seeing the fear in Alice's eyes, Violet sighed and softened her expression. Alice reminded her of a stray cat she'd taken in once. A scrawny little thing that looked like it might keel over any second. Violet hadn't had much herself back then, but she shared what little food she had. Sometimes even skipping meals so the cat could eat. The cat, which she named Stray, had become attached to her, and they had developed a close bond, meeting every day at their usual spot. Then, one day, Stray vanished. The sick feeling in Violet's gut lasted for days as she searched everywhere, terrified that something awful had happened. She was consumed with regret, wishing she'd taken Stray in properly, even if it meant Nancy blowing a gasket. Their trailer was already cramped, and an animal would have been chaos. Plus, Nancy despised animals. Nothing, not even the cutest puppy, could melt her icy heart. Violet knew life had been tough on Nancy, leaving no room for love, not even a harmless little creature. 2 weeks later, the truth came out. Stray wasn't a stray at all. The cat had a family and had simply wandered too far from home. That was the last time Violet remembered crying. She'd fought to keep Stray, but she couldn't compete with the cat's real family. The father had been trying to pay her for looking after their pet. Violet refused the money, but Nancy had happily pocketed it. In Nancy's words, at least Violet's stupidity had been good for something. Violet still remembered the smug look on the daughter's face as she petted Stray, just like Violet had weeks before. If looks could kill, that girl would have been Swiss cheese. Rage had boiled inside Violet, and for a second she actually considered murder. Luckily, Nancy had dragged her away before she did anything crazy. The worst part was that Stray hadn't seemed to care at all. The cat had nestled into the girl without a second thought, as if everything Violet had done, all their time together, had meant nothing. Violet had cried herself to sleep for days, heartbroken. It wasn't until Nancy slapped her and gave her a lecture that she finally snapped out of it. Her longing for love and a real family had made her cling to that cat. She thought it would be her and Stray against the world, but the cat had taught her a brutal lesson. Even family could walk away without a backward glance, just like her own family had. It might sound dramatic, but for a love-starved 10-year-old, it had left a scar. It shaped how she saw the world and how she dealt with people. Violet had friends, sure, but she kept them at arm's length, close enough for fun, but not close enough to hurt her if things went south. That's why she wasn't about to let this seemingly friendly roommate get too close. At a school like Lunaris, everyone was probably just waiting for a chance to backstab you. And Violet wasn't giving anyone that opportunity. Taking a deep breath, she toned down the intensity and asked, "What's up?" as she tugged awkwardly at her jacket. Even though uniforms weren't her thing, she had to admit the Lunaris school uniform was pretty awesome. It fit her like a glove, hugging her curves perfectly. It was just the stupid jacket she couldn't stand.
"I was hoping we could get breakfast together,"
Alice said cheerfully, watching Violet wrestle with the jacket. When Violet ripped it off and almost threw it across the room, Alice's eyes widened in surprise.
"Oh, no, you don't,"
Alice scolded, picking up the jacket from where Violet had tossed it onto the bed.
"Principal Jameson would roast you alive if you showed up with an incomplete uniform, not to mention dock your points."
Violet grumbled. Ugh, those cardinal alphas and those rich, spoiled brats don't seem to care about that.
"They don't because they have thousands of points to spare. You, on the other hand, just barely made it into the top 20. If you want to stay there or climb higher, you'll need every point you can get. It's paradise if you reach the top 10. They're the elite of the elite and practically untouchable. I don't care about their stupid ranking, Violet snapped. Well, I do, Alice said shamelessly. If you make it to the top, then I'll be your sidekick, picking up whatever scraps you toss my way. Alice, I already told you Violet's words were cut off as Alice yanked the jacket tighter, making her choke. Oops, sorry, Alice said with a goofy grin, though the apology felt fake. You were saying? Violet didn't answer, not when Alice still had control over the jacket and could practically strangle her if she said the wrong thing. Apparently, the Cardinal Alphas weren't the only psychos this school was hiding. Not that she was naming names. Once satisfied with her work, Alice smoothed her hands over the jacket and asked in a deceptively sweet voice, Tell me, Violet, do you want to just chill here in peace? The words were on the tip of Violet's tongue, but the shock from earlier kept her silent. She only managed a stiff nod. Then you need this school's currency, power. With enough of it, you'll be left alone to do whatever you want. Or maybe I'll just lie low and be left alone, Violet thought sarcastically. Do you understand? Alice's voice was sugary, but with a sharp edge. Yes, Violet managed to squeak. Good. Alice clapped her hands, her cheerful demeanor returning so fast it nearly gave Violet whiplash. Come on, then. Alice looped her arm through Violet's. Let's grab some breakfast. And without waiting for a reply, she dragged Violet along. Violet could only follow, her heart pounding in her chest. It was clear now she'd have to sleep with one eye open if she wanted to survive in this room. One bad night, and someone might actually use a jacket to finish her off in her sleep. If Violet had thought Catherine was a walking encyclopedia, then Alice was the internet. She never stopped talking. Violet made a mental note to keep her secrets locked down tight, because who knew whom Alice might spill the beans to? Even though everything Alice said seemed to be useful information about Lunaris, Violet wasn't taking any chances. Just like her, everyone from West House was heading to the dining hall. And just like her first day, the other students were staring at her, making her skin crawl. Violet was used to it by now, though. She tuned them out and focused on Alice's stories, mentally filing away the important bits. About Hazel Sterling. Alice changed the subject as they stepped outside, joining the flow of students. Don't hate her too much. She's not as bad as you think. Violet frowned. It's the fact that you think I'm hung up on dumb stuff that bugs me. I didn't come to Lunaris Academy to, yeah, blah blah, you're heartless and don't care about anyone. I get it. Alice interrupted, already having Violet's personality pegged after just one day. She can deny it all she wants, but Hazel sees you as a threat. Probably jealous, too. Seriously? Why? Violet's voice rose, the memory of yesterday's incident flaring up her anger again. I already told her what to do if she's so jealous. Chill, Violet. Let me fill you in. Alice started. In case you haven't noticed, Lunaris Academy only accepts the rich, the brilliant, and the well-connected. The Sterlings may be new money, but when Hazel first applied, she got rejected. Can you imagine how embarrassing that was? Even as an elite, she didn't make the cut. Now the rumor is her parents basically bought her a scholarship just to get her in. Then you show up the first day and land in the top 20-something no one else has ever done. Hazel thinks she would have done even better than you, especially if she had that run-in with Griffin. Wow, I knew she liked getting choked by Griffin. Tell her she won't miss the next opportunity if she hangs around me. Violet replied sarcastically. Secretly, though, Violet knew that with her current plans, getting choked by Griffin might be the least of her worries.
trouble always seemed to find her. That is, if she even stayed at Lunaris. She planned to talk to Principal Jameson about canceling her scholarship if she could find a free moment between classes. The schedule was crazy. Alice sighed, realizing she wouldn't get any sympathy from Violet, but she wasn't giving up. Under Violet's tough exterior, she sensed a softer side. Violet just hid it well. Getting to the dining hall was another long trek. It was closer to the main school building than the dorms. Even though West House had a vending machine, Violet decided to take full advantage of the dining hall. Alice rushed ahead to hold the door open, dramatically sweeping her arm. "Welcome to the Platinum Court, my lady." Violet stopped, raising an eyebrow. "Platinum Court? That's what us Lunaris kids call the dining hall." Alice winked. "You'll see why when you get inside." Violet didn't have time to question Alice's over-the-top description. There was already a line of students behind them, grumbling for them to move. Alice held the door open a little too long, letting it swing shut almost in the next student's face. The kid swore under his breath while Alice just grinned, not sorry at all. Violet shook her head. Alice could be such a goofball. But then she stepped inside and froze, taking in the dining hall. Okay, Alice hadn't been exaggerating about the Platinum Court. This place was seriously impressive. The Lunaris Academy cafeteria was huge and fancy, just like everything else at the school. Golden sunlight streamed through giant arched windows, lighting up the cream and gold walls. The marble floor was so shiny it looked like a mirror, reflecting the chandeliers sparkling overhead. The whole place felt super luxurious. But that's where the nice part ended. Underneath all the fancy decorations was a strict social order. Downstairs, rows of polished mahogany tables were for the regular students, humans, and lower-ranked werewolves who hadn't made a name for themselves yet. Compared to Violet's old school, this was pretty swanky. But their silverware and plates were plain and simple, nothing special. This section was also super noisy and crowded, with everyone crammed together, and teachers and older kids watching them like hawks. Even here, there was a divide. Humans sat on one side, werewolves on the other, though some kids mixed together. But both groups were at the bottom of the pole. From downstairs, you could see where the real VIPs sat. A fancy staircase with gold-trimmed railings curved up a raised platform, the elite section, just for the top students. They sat in comfy individual chairs around small tables with velvet tablecloths, eating off fancy china with real silver. They acted like they were too cool for school, looking down at the regular kids, sometimes with smug grins or sneers. The noise downstairs didn't bother them at all. They were way too important for that. Right in the middle of the elite section were 4 special chairs, bigger and fancier than the rest. They were made of dark wood with the school's logo in gold on the back. Even without Alice saying anything, Violet knew those were for the Cardinal Alphas. Nobody, not even the top 20 students, dared sit there. It was like an unspoken rule. Those chairs were a symbol of who ran the school, and everyone looked at them with a mix of awe, fear, and respect. Violet had been impressed at first, but now she was frowning. A place meant for eating had become a way to show off who was better than who. Every time you looked up or down, you were reminded of who had power and who didn't. The whole thing felt suffocating. This place was a social minefield. Violet watched the scene unfold in the cafeteria, a knot forming in her stomach. Everyone was so obsessed with status and power. While some kids might think she was lucky to have scored so high in the rankings, seeing this whole setup made her realize it was more like a curse. Being at the top didn't feel like a win. It felt like a trap. Absolute power corrupts, and Violet knew that if she kept playing this game, it was only a matter of time before she became just another cog in the Lunaris Academy machine, just as bad as everyone else.
Hey amazing viewers, it's Voilette here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 7.3% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 92.7% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.